Talk us through that process of taking the slinky and taking the sound in propeller seats as the sound of your banister at home. How do you take those sounds and make them work in a song?
That's really good fun. On this occasion, all of the sounds kind of went into a session in Ableton, and then I basically just tried things out, just quick brushstrokes, because I only had 2 weeks to write the song from its first beginnings, do the video, do the artwork, and release it all in 2 weeks. That was my challenge to myself, because I've discovered that I think 2 weeks is my optimum time. That's when I write what I think are my strongest songs. In the past, I wrote Hide and Seek in a 2-week period. I wrote Speeding Cars in a 2-week period. I wrote The Moment I Said It in 2 weeks. And so I take this, that's what I basically set up for my album, that I'm going to do these 2-week slots every 3 months, but do the project kind of and then the song. So yeah, I kind of open up the session and just throw things next to each other and just see what kind of dances around each other, and then I find a small connect in it, and then I kind of follow it like a thread, and just kind of get wrapped up in it for a bit, and try not to think too much about it. That's the great thing about having little time, actually, is you don't overthink things, and so.
And you change the pitch and presumably the rhythm of these sounds? Yeah,
I was trying to keep actually quite a lot of it intact on this one, because I like the idea that you could identify the sounds. But yeah, often I will take a sound, you know, like this, I don't know, that, and then it might be like, oh, that's nice, but it's just slightly a quarter tone flat, so I'll just tune that up, or you could, you know, I love playing with audio like it's Play-Doh. It's like kind of like stretch it around, which kind of leads me on to a little bit the gloves that I've been developing, about wanting to actually be able to physically kind of almost physically imagine that I'm actually touching the audio by developing these gloves, and kind of, yeah, changing sound depending on where my hands are and how they're moving, and how fast they're moving, and moving sound around the room just by waving my arms in the air.
Kind of dance the song almost.
Yeah. In time, I'd love to actually create more of a body suit, and actually, depending on where I am in relation to the audience, kind of playing with that too, the space distance between us, that perhaps when I get closer to the audience, using something like the Connect, I could, as I'm making this song, as I get closer, perhaps I get less reverb or delay on my voice, or perhaps the drums that I've programmed become less busy, so I become more intimate, so that actually my connection with you and the space on the stage is kind of how I feel. Like when I'm further away, I'm like bigger, and I make bigger shapes, and when I'm closer to the front of the stage, I sing a bit quieter perhaps. So it's how to translate that into of making music on the stage.
Tell us about the listening chair, because people might have seen it in the foyer.
Okay, so the listening chair is a chair that you can sit in. It has a screen and a microphone and some speakers. And it wants to ask you a question. It wants to ask you, what do you think the song is that still needs to be written? Because I wanted to discover if there was a song void, if there was themes that people were like still really wanting to hear. Perhaps it could be, you know, about right now, or something much bigger, or maybe somebody wants to write a song about, why isn't there a really good song about dinosaurs, you know? So
Dorothy the dinosaur, it's already been written by the Wiggles.
Oh, well, I'm going to keep it running for all eternity, and just see how people's, you know, ideas shift and change depending on what's going on in the world. So, but for the last song on my record, yes, I'm going to kind of have a look at all of that and see, okay, what can I draw from this? Like, as the last song on the record, just to see if there is something big that needs to be written about.